So I just wanted to talk quickly about layout sizes, okay? And I want to tell everybody that you have to be careful if you set like a fixed width for your web page size, okay? So we talked about using the container that contains your content, and you can fix a size for that. Or if you choose not to fix a size, then it will be liquid or elastic or whatever you want to call it. And so let me just show you what happened to one project that you see here. That it looks, actually quite nice. However, this person made a container and fixed the width to 1920. If you're not familiar with sizes, 1920 is what we call high definition, HD. So 1920 by 1080. Okay, and what happened with that is, since that size is so big, that when I do have it on full screen, it actually looks quite nice. And there's just a touch of horizontal scroll you can see there, probably because apart from the 1920, there's some padding and margin that has increased that a little bit. But it does look rather nice on 1920. However, that as soon as I make a window size that's slightly smaller, you can see that things start falling off, and I get the horizontal scroll, and all my colors are kind of getting all messed up. Okay, so you have to be careful about that, because not all people have full HD. Okay, especially a lot of the older computers. Now I know probably all of you have really fancy new computers, but you have to keep in mind that when you're designing a website, that you're designing for everybody out there, not just the people with fancy computers. And not all computers have a resolution of HD. Okay, so if you're going to make a fixed width, I would choose something that fits into 1024 or 1366, 1366. Okay, if you go with that, you're covering most of the people out there. Most people nowadays have at least 1366, which is what you might have heard HD ready. Okay, so 1366, if you're going to set a fixed width, I wouldn't go much bigger than that. Okay, and you'll actually find that a lot of websites kind of follow that. If you look at, just let me log out of Facebook for a second, and I'll show you. How do I log out of Facebook? I don't even know anymore. Log out. Okay, you can see their content. You see how it fits into right here, and all this is just extra margin, right? They actually have like a margin left, right, auto, and you can also go all the way down to there. Okay, so all their content actually fits into, I believe this is actually 1024. If you're ever wondering how big your content is, you can search for a site. I think it's called How Big Is My Screen? How big is my screen? So it's not how big is my screen, how big is my browser? And here we go, howbigismybrowser.com. If you go there, you can actually see, it'll tell you how big in pixels you're looking at. Okay, so Facebook, let's go right down to the minimum that it looks decent, right about there. And then after that, you get the horizontal scroll. Right, so right about there. So Facebook, like I said, is dealing with about 1024, like I said. Okay, don't force people to see your content in something like this big. Okay, and then when people have a smaller screen like that, half your content is gone. Okay, so keep that in mind if you do use a fixed width. Otherwise, you can use like a a liquid design, kind of like YouTube here, right? You can see no matter how big or small things get, things just kind of either stretch or compress. And if you get really big, I think other columns kind of pop up, or if you get really small, columns disappear and just get listed underneath. But that's a little bit advanced. I don't know if you want to look into that. That's called responsive design. If you feel like you can look into that. But yeah, just keep in mind, probably the easiest thing if you're dealing with a fixed width is not to go for a huge size.